What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of the Thomas Take tonight. I'm very excited to get this one started. The first part, I kind of started an intro off talking about some of the stuff I've dealt with on social media from these so-called Thomas Take haters. Haters are gonna hate. That's what we know. That's the saying. And as James Franco once said in the interview, I believe it was, they hate us because they ain't us. And I'm going to say they hate me because they ain't me. You know, they can't do the things that I do. And that's okay. There could be a little bit of, posturing. I put my opinion out there. I'm very professional in some ways in which I do so. Sometimes I'm very loud in my opinion. And I've always been that way. Sometimes there's ways to fix it. Sometimes there's not. But I am somebody that likes to let my voice be heard, especially when it's talking about politics, when it's talking about sports, two topics of conversation that I'm very vocal about, and that's just who I am. That's why I started this podcast. That's why I've chosen the career path that I have in public communications and broadcast journalism, and I'm very excited to continue my path, to continue my goals. I'm going back to school in January. I got one last semester at CC. Then I'm going to be going to the University of Buffalo. So I'm very excited. Next year in September, I'm very excited. So I'm hoping that is the case for you guys as well. I'm hoping that you're following along with the journey that I've had with this podcast. There's been people out there that have been, hating on my stuff because they don't agree with it. Just whether you don't agree with what I say, that's not the point. I would appreciate it, though, if you listened to what I had to say, because I think what I have to say is interesting, and I provide an interesting angle at things when talking about them, especially with sports. So here we are. 2016, Week 14, Buffalo Bills lose 27-20 over the Pittsburgh Steelers today at home at New Era Field. And now begs the question, what now? What now for the Buffalo Bills? So many reports have come out about Rex Ryan and Doug Whaley and a clash of heads. And I've thought so many different things about this along the way. So many different ideas have popped into my head. Is it Doug Whaley? Is it Rex Ryan? Is it both? Is it Tyrod Taylor? Is it the defense? There's so many things to wonder what is the one thing. And truly, for Bills fans to nitpick which is the one thing, what is the problem, that in itself is the problem. Looking at what is the one problem when there is more than one problem is the problem with this entire organization. They assume that there's one root problem, one person to blame, and that has been the problem for the last 17 years and counting that the Bills have not made the playoffs. They pointed the finger at Drew Bledsoe when Drew Bledsoe couldn't get the ball out of his hand. They said he held the ball too long, when really bits and pieces of their offensive line had completely been diminished. They pointed the finger at the coaches. Mike Mularkey got pushed out of town. His kids were bullied because they were losing. Mike Mularkey quit. They pointed the finger at Doug Marrone. They pointed the finger at Dick Duran. They pointed the finger at Tom Donahue. That is the Buffalo Bills, pointing the finger at somebody that, whether that is the one person to blame, it's never one person. And that is what we are seeing now. We're seeing a clash of heads between our general manager, Doug Whaley, and Rex Ryan, reportedly. And I would go on a limb here and say that it is not reportedly. It is actual, true, factual information that Doug Whaley and Rex Ryan have clashed heads over the last few weeks over the status of the team, especially the quarterback position. And of all the things that they could clash heads about, although I'd be the first to say that Tyrod Taylor has played very poorly during this entire 2016 season, or at least most of it, I would say that is the last thing I would have expected Rex Ryan to maybe be fired for, is the quarterback. Think about that. He was hired here to be the defensive guru of our defense that already had Mario Williams, Marcel Darius, Jerry Hughes, Kyle Williams on it, coming off back-to-back number one seasons, first-ranked seasons in sacks. He comes in, and he's supposed to be the guy that's going to turn our defense up even further. And instead, he put our defense back a few spots, and he put our offense ahead. And he might be fired based on an offensive reason. And it shocks me because their defense is played so poorly that you would think that Doug Whaley would say, well, we are letting Rex go possibly because of the fact that our defense is played so bad, rather than the fact that our offense is played so bad. And I'm very interested to see what happens with that. I'm interested to see, how does this pan out? What is the exact reason that Rex Ryan could be fired? Does it really? There isn't one exact reason, but for Doug Whaley to say that it could, for reports to come out to say that it could be because of the quarterback position. Doug Whaley wants Cardale Jones to get some playing time. Rex Ryan wants to finish the season with Tyrod Taylor, go with the guy that he feels gives him the best chance to win. And Rex Ryan's defense, it is plausible to say, why is he, why am I here? Why am I the coach of this team if I can't put my lineup together? And that is something that is very valid. Why am I here to put my lineup together if and for the fact that I can't put my lineup together? I can't put in who I want to put in. Very interesting stuff from One Bills Drive. Comment below, and we'll start an open discussion. Take care.